A Fazza's garden of light in the hush of dawn, before the call when stars still linger and moonlight falls. There blooms a place where joy runs free, a garden lit by poetry. No gate, no guard, no need for key, just walk in peace. Let your heart be. Each step you take, the soil sings, awakening life with gentle wings. The trees remember every word that Fazza's soulful voice has stirred. Leaves shimmer when his verses rise, reflecting colors from the skies. The river hums a lullaby, it weaves his lyrics drifting by. A gentle current, warm and wise, carving paths through lows and highs. His laughter rings through air so wide, like thunder kissed with morning pride. It echoes through the mountain's bone, turning silence into tone. No sorrow dares to settle near, for love and hope are always here. Each flower bends with grace so true, as if it bloomed just for you. The sun itself takes note each day of how its joy can light the way. It warms the hills, it feeds the vine. It knows it's Fazza who truly shines. With every breath, a world is healed. With every rhyme, a truth revealed. Every rhyme, a truth revealed. In pages, skies, and hearts alike, he carves the dark with words of light. So come and stay, don't walk alone. In Fazza's garden, love has grown, where all that's heavy floats away, and only peace is here to stay. There's a rhythm in the stillness, soft and slow, a pulse that only dreamers come to know. It hums within the quiet night and day, a sacred beat that never fades away. It started once, perhaps a breath, a spark, a whisper in the endless velvet dark. But soon it grew, became a golden flame, and with it rose the power of a name, Fazza. A voice not made for noise, but truth, a soul that sings the sacred song of youth, not bound by time, nor held by earthly chains, but dancing through the stars and sunlit rains. He walks with silence, speaks with sky, his thoughts like comets passing by. Each word he pens, a gentle wave that lifts the lost, the brave, the brave. The elders nod when he walks near, they sense the truth, the lack of fear. The children laugh, their eyes grown wide, he holds the world on either side. For joy is not just smiling eyes, it's rising even when hope dies. It's pouring light in broken cups and teaching hearts how to rise up. Fazza writes not just to rhyme, but to remind us every time that even shadows learn to dance when given just a second chance. His ink runs deep, it stains the soul in colors words cannot control. A crimson line, a sapphire breath, a sunbeam rising after death. Oh, sing his name with tender grace, let every echo find its place. For in his path the weary rest and broken wings return to nest. The wind repeats his every line, the sea has sipped his sacred wine, and stars descend just to ignite the page where Fazza writes his light. A Fazza in the path of stars he walked where no maps ever dared, where silence ruled and few had cared. The sky above, the earth below, but in his chest a sacred glow. The winds would whisper ancient tales of broken ships and tattered sails. Yet Fazza strolled with steady flame, unshaken by the world's acclaim. His path was carved in quiet thought, in battles with the self he fought. No sword he raised, no crown he wore, but hearts he opened, evermore. Each step a stanza, breath a song, he turned the right out of the wrong. He held no gold, no throne, no war, yet gave the world a little more. The stars would bow when he looked high, for they had seen him touch the sky. With his hands, but with his soul, he stitched the void and made it whole. He spoke not loud, but deep and wide, a voice that tides would not deride, but I. Amati. The ocean listened, held its roar, and placed its waves upon the shore. He told of wounds that healed in time, of pain that birthed the strongest rhyme. Of nights he wept with just the moon, then turned his tears into a tune. No crowd to cheer, no stage to climb, yet still he rose beyond all time. For greatness isn't draped in praise, but found in simple, quiet days, where kindness echoes soft and real, and love is all you choose to feel. That's where he lived, beyond the eyes, where truth walks free and spirit flies. So when the dusk begins to fall, and shadows stretch across the hall, remember this, his light remains in whispered winds and gentle rains. For Fazza never chased the fame, he only lit the sacred flame. A torch for souls who've lost their way, a dawn that breaks the darkest day. A Fazza, the voice between worldsy, there is a place between the seen and the said, where poets walk and angels tread, not bound by rules of time or ground, but floating where pure truths are found. It's there that Fazza found his way, not born to drift, but born to say. Not just with lips, but with the fire that turns a whisper to a choir. He spoke with stars still wet with night, and danced with shadows seeking light. His ink was dusk, his pen was dawn. He wrote the worlds we journeyed on. No fame could cage him. None could own the voice that bloomed from root to bone. He knew that beauty's not in gold, but in the stories that are told. He spoke of pain, but made it peace, turned storms to songs, and gave release. He touched the wounds that hid so deep and sang them softly out of sleep. The elders heard him, and they wept, for truths their silent hearts had kept. The children danced beneath his rhyme, their dreams now free to climb through time. Fazza never sought a throne. He built a kingdom all his own. One not of walls but woven breath, where life stood fearless next to death. He walked through grief and called it grace. He met despair and gave it space. He touched the mirror, saw his flaws, but loved them deeper without pause. His power, not to rule but feel, to name the things we hid as real, real. To name the things we hid as real. To lift the weight from silent eyes and fill the air with clear blue skies. No prophet, prince, or perfect man, just one who followed fate's soft plan. But still the earth beneath him knew, where Fazza stepped, the flowers grew. And when the stars begin to fall, and night wraps round the quiet call, the wind will hum his sacred lines, the poet of eternal signs. A Fazza, keeper of the infinite flame, he was born not into noise, but into knowing, a soul already glowing, never needing showing. The world spun fast, the voices loud, but Fazza walked beneath the cloud. He saw the stars not just as light, but ancient flames that wrote the night. Each one a word, a breath, a name, each burning with a hidden flame. He asked the sky, "What is my role?" The wind replied, "To free the soul." And the wind replied, "Not with swords nor mighty cries, but with the truth that never dies." So he listened, not to win or boast, but to the quiet things we fear the most. Back behind a smiling face, the silent scream that leaves no trace. He wrote for them, the lost unheard. He turned their pain into a word. And in that word, they found their feet, their shadows dancing in the heat. His verses weren't just ink on scrolls. They were the stitching of broken souls. A thread of gold through storm and strife, weaving ruins back to life. The desert knew him by his breath. The mountains echoed what he left. The rivers bent around his thought, and time forgot the things it taught. Fazza, the keeper of the flame, who saw through masks, stripped the name. He spoke to silence as a friend, and knew where every wound could mend. They asked him once, "What do you seek?" He smiled and said, "The strength of meek, to hold no throne, yet lift a land, to rule with heart, not with command." He never rushed, he never chased. For all he needed, he embraced. The wind, the word, the moon, the spark, each one a guide within the dark. When the night grew far too long, he sang the stars their ancient song. They burned anew as if they knew the poet's light was breaking through. So when you walk with weary mind and leave your softer soul behind, remember Fazza's sacred flame, still burning strong, still speaking your name. A Fazza, the phoenix within from ashes. Not just dust he came, but born anew in holy flame. The world had tried to pull him low, but roots run deep where few will go. They said, "We're done," he said, "Not yet." They drew the line. He overslept, woke up with storms behind his eyes and fire borrowed from the skies. He didn't roar, he didn't shout, he just stepped through every doubt. He just stepped through every doubt. No need for armor, sword, or crown. His silence shook the mountains down. The winds remembered every fall, the nights he spoke to shadows call. He kissed the dark, embraced the pain, then turned that hurt into a chain. Not one that bound, but one that linked his soul to stars that never blinked. Each scar he wore was carved in gold, each broken piece a story told. Not tragedy, but transformation, a soul-built slow salvation. He met betrayal, face to face, and smiled with a sacred grace. "You'll break me once, I'll rise to a softer flame, but twice as true. A softer flame, but twice as true." They never knew what lived within, the quiet wars, the silent sin. But Fazza did, and that's enough to know yourself when life gets rough. So now he walks the phoenix hole with poems inked across his soul. He writes not just for light or fame, but for the ones who bear the flame. The ones who cry in silent rooms, who plant their dreams despite the tombs, who choose to grow through every blow, who water flowers in the snow. For them he stands, for them he sings. He builds them hope with feathered wings, and he flies through storms without a sound, a king whose throne is not the ground. So if you're lost or falling fast, remember, this too will not last. The fire you fear is not your end, but just the place where you transcend. And Fazza waits beyond the dust with arms of rhythm, heart of trust, palms of rhythm, heart of trust, to guide you back, to lift your chin, to show you your phoenix within. A Fazza, the weaver of realms in the quiet corners of the soul, where dreams unspoken take their toll, there walks a figure, soft yet bold, with hands that weave what can't be told. told. He's not a dreamer, nor a seer, but someone who believes in here. Not lost in thoughts, nor drifting far, but painting life beneath the stars. He takes the threads of hopes and fears, and weaves them into timeless years, not blind to pain, nor deaf to strife, but carving rhythm out of life. Spangster. For Fazza knows the art of light, the balance that the dark ignites. Without the dusk, the dawn would fail. Without the storm, the winds turn pale. His hands do not rest upon the sky, they mold the earth and ask it why. They turn the soil with gentle care, and plant the seeds that learn to share. Not every root will reach for sun, but all must grow, all must run. He teaches each in quiet rhyme, that even the smallest rise in time. With every thread, he learns the flow, the dance between the ebb and glow. He hears the heart, it speaks in beat, but knows the mind can't claim defeat. For dreams are soft, but goals are steel, and both must meet in ways that heal. A heart that soars, a mind that grounds, together they make sacred sounds. He takes his time and walks the line between the truth and endless climb, not rushing past nor waiting still, but letting fate bend to his will. In the silence, wisdom speaks not loud or fast, but soft and meek. He listens close and hears the rhyme, that all things fall, then rise in time. The stars above, the ground below, are bound by threads we'll never know. But Fazza's hands, though small they seem, can stitch the worlds and live the dream. For in his heart, the realms collide, the worlds of fear, the worlds of pride. He does not conquer. Through shadowed nights, through endless days, he walks the quiet, endless maze. Not seeking answers, not seeking fame, but finding truth in every name. And when you look, if you should dare, you'll find his song is everywhere. It's in the breath, the calm, the fire, the pull of love, the deep desire. For Fazza weaves not just for self, but for the ones who seek their wealth. Not of gold, nor fleeting things, but the beauty that the silence brings. And in this dance of soul and mind, he shows the way for all to find. The art of life, the gift of time, to weave the heart and mind in rhyme.